Hi there. I want to share a video blog with you that I call From Conflict to Dilemma. And the reason why I want to share this with you is because it's a pretty key component in the work that I do. Every single parent or couple that I work with are able to solve their problems pretty easily when they're able to make this shift. And I'm hoping in the video to be able to show it to you so that you can get it too. So to start, people call me for all sorts of advice, from trying to get their kids to brush their teeth in the evening, get their homework done, get their teenage daughter off drugs, or try to figure out custody with their kids as they're going through a divorce. And each of these situations might seem very different, but the reality is that they have a very common element, and that is there's at least two people involved, and they're standing face to face, seemingly at odds with each other. One person has an idea, the other person has an idea, and they can't seem to see eye to eye. So what do we do? Well, let's take the example of doing homework, because that's probably the most common. But if that doesn't resonate with you, that's cool. Think of a situation in which you don't enjoy something that your child says or does. If you don't have any young children with you living at home, maybe it's a partner that you would like to change. So think about what you would like them to do differently, and I want you to take a minute to think about why that's important to you. Now, you may not have thought of this before, so if you have to pause the video, please do. But I really want you to think about what matters to you when you imagine your child, for example, doing homework. A lot of parents come to me and say, well, they have to do homework because that's what's expected of them and the teacher said so and all the rest of it. And, you know, fine. But I really want you, for this exercise, I really want you to get clear about why is it important to you? Why does it matter? What needs of yours are being met when you see your child doing homework? Why? Understand the why and get firmly planted in that. If you have to, imagine a time when your child was doing homework and let that feeling sink into your body. Get really clear about it. Get firmly planted on your side. And when you do, I want you to take now a minute to bridge over to the other side. Don't lose footing over here. Just bridge over to the other side. Your child has a different perspective. Your child is probably telling you, Mom, Dad, I hate homework. It is so boring. The teacher's always giving me homework. I never have time to do the things that I really want to do. And I look so dumb because I can't understand it anyway. So I really want you to listen to your child. Don't lose your footing, but listen to why it's important to them to say no to doing homework. For you as a parent, I can hear, of course, we want the best for our children. We want them to have an education because we want them to take care of themselves when they grow up. We want them to find meaningful work. It's a thing that parents do, is we provide for our children. In the same way we provide food and shelter and love for them, we also want an education for them. Our children are thinking, I want this to be fun. I want this to be meaningful to me. I want this to make sense in my real life. I want it to be able to fit in with all the other activities that I have so that I have some balance in my life. Can you hear that in the know? If you can't, just take a minute to really get clear that they are trying to meet their needs as well. So here you have a problem, a conflict, when you stand like this. But when you start to bridge this space between the two of you, then a shift happens. You can come together. And now, instead of fighting with each other, instead of having a war over homework, you have a problem to solve. I want you to take a minute to imagine what it might feel like to meet everyone's needs without compromise. Because if you compromise any one of them, then no one's going to be really happy with the results. Now, having said that, many times I've seen children stretch into homework because when they see the meaning, when they see the reasons why it's important, and they can connect it with, say, a program they want to go into, or a career they're interested in, or they can connect it to something really fun for them. I've seen kids produce projects using graphic arts, computers, audio, visual, you name it. And with the technology out these days, the ways we used to think about doing projects is one of the ways. It's not all the ways. So in so many ways, our children have choices about how they want to do their homework. And when we can get creative that way, we have a problem to solve together as opposed to having a conflict together. Do you see the shift? Now, some people will say, well, I don't even know what this even looks like. You know, I'm just used to having this war. You know, yeah, I say something, they say no. What does it even look like? Well, I want you to take a minute and just imagine that it's possible. So come together. Even in your mind, you may not even be having this conversation with your child, but even in your mind, imagine the possibility that you could meet all of your needs without compromise, that is possible. I tell you, it is possible. It happens every day in my family. It happens with hundreds of other families. I've seen it happen time and time again with my clients who believe, absolutely, it's impossible. I will never ever shift my position. And then shifts happen. So imagine that it's possible. And if you don't know, then that's cool. You'll figure it out. I trust you. You'll come together and you'll sit in that space. Give yourself time to just not even know. And even say that to your child. You know what? I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know how you can have fun. And this can be really meaningful for you. And give me the reassurance that I need, that you're getting the education that you need, so that I know that you're going to be able to take care of yourself when you grow up. I don't know what that looks like. Have any ideas? And see what happens. Be willing to sit in the silence and then see what happens. What I'd love for you to do is try this out for real. Think of a situation in which you want to change someone else. You want them to do something for you. Imagine why it's important to you. Really sink in. Get really clear about that. Even before you talk to the other person, start bridging the gap between where you are and where they are, and try to imagine what's important to them. And then begin to shift your perspective, to imagine what it's like to see the problem together. And then what I would love for you to do is write down your experience on this blog. Share it with other parents so we can all learn together. I thank you so much for listening today.